Hey guys, LootWizard here, and I got the first Soulforge video of the year for you. We're going to be going through the Soulforge as usual, and then check out the new troop, and go over and take a look at the current event going on this week. So let's get right into it. And before that, though, hopefully you all had a good New Year celebration. I had a pretty good one, and as you guys all saw, I had some incredible luck pulling that new troop. Uh, I'm still blown away by my luck on that new Mythic Troop. So hopefully this whole new year is a great year for all of us. Hopefully that luck that I had is I'm wishing all of you the same kind of luck this year. So without any further ado, let's get right into this. Check out the weapons first. Let's see if there's anything good in here. Trickster Shot. Absolutely, you need to get this. If you don't have Trickster Shot, and it is not that expensive, it's only 300 diamonds. This thing is one of the best weapons in the game. You need to get it. Get it. Do what you have to get this weapon this week. Trickster Shot. It will eliminate all armor from an enemy and deal 30 damage. It gains 2 magic boosted by armor eliminated. Boost ratio is a third. It's 3 to 1. So that means a third of all of the armor that you eliminate, it will add that to its magic power. So this thing is basically like the equivalent of Mang, except with spell damage instead of increasing its attack damage with skulls. So get this weapon, man. It is really, really good. I use it all the time. I use it for bounties. I use it for any events where I can use it. It's not that much mana cost either. It's only 15. And it just really is a fantastic weapon. So that's the best weapon. If I had to pick like 3 weapons that are probably the best in the game, it's probably going to be, as best as far as like useful in all the different events and game modes. It's probably going to be Mang, Trickster Shot, and maybe something like Earth's Fury or Rope Dart. But I'm just saying, Trickster Shot is within my like top 3 weapons in the game. So get this weapon if you can. All the rest of the weapons, nothing really that great. You got Summer's Aegis and you got Fairy Ring. These are weapons that are just going to generate mana based on. This one is for the Bright Forest Kingdom. Fairy Ring is for Fey allies. But those aren't really that great. And we don't really have anything else in here either. But Trickster Shot, get that if you can. So let's go over the troops now that we can craft this week here. Let's go through the summoning stones really quickly. I always like to check these because you never know when there's something good in here. Scrolling through. There's purple. Azira is a decent troop for mana generation, exploding all blue gems, but I don't think it's good enough to try to get in here. For brown, well, there's really nothing in summoning stones I can recommend trying to get this week. So, yeah, there's that. So right away, here's the legendaries for this week, and we don't really have a good selection here either. Gloom Leaf, Crimson Bat, Kurarg the Dread, and Gog and Good. Some of the worst legendaries in the game. I mean, Gloom Leaf is okay. I never really use it though. It steals armor and 5 attack from all enemies, and it does have a reflect 50% of skull damage. So you're gonna have the most usefulness out of this troop if you put it at the top of your team. But it's not a great legendary. Crimson Bat's probably the best out of the legendaries, and it's still not even really that fantastic. It does true damage to all enemies, gains 16 life, has some good okay traits, I'll say. Deals double skull damage to wounded enemies and to divine enemies. 15 mana cost, so yeah, it's not like bottom tier legendary, but it's average-ish legendary. Crimson Bat, but it's definitely the best legendary in this lineup this week. Kurarg the Dread, is really weird. It has a 5% chance to devour on skull damage. It does do spell damage to the last 2 enemies, but it doesn't do anything really that amazing. Now let's take a look at Mythic Troops here, and we don't really have a great lineup for Mythics either this week. So Urali used to be pretty good in a certain combination with another troop because it would poison all enemies on a 4 or 5 match. It still does do that, but we used to combine this with, well, you still can combine it, but we used to do this a lot for farming medals in Explore battles, combining this troop with Scorpius, because Scorpius deals lethal damage to any poisoned enemy, so these two would go together really well. It does true damage to all enemies, and then it can summon a bone Naga if there's an empty space. So, but I wouldn't craft this. It's really not that great of a mythic troop outside of its combination with Scorpius. Then we have Champion of Anu here, which actually is a decent mythic. It's not S or A tier. I would say it's a pretty stable B tier mythic. What it does is it silences, stuns, and drains all mana from an enemy, and then it deals damage to that enemy and all enemies below it. So this troop is going to be used mainly as a manipulator to shut down enemies because it's silencing and it's draining their mana, but it will do some spell damage as well. It also boosts stats on all blue allies, and then it will reduce damage from skulls by 60%. So you can put this in the top spot of your team as a defensive troop because of that. Now you have Tian Yi, which it's an okay mythic. I would say it's a little bit less useful than Champion of Anu, but it's not bottom tier. It's an average mythic. It does heavy splash damage to an enemy, stuns all affected enemies, deals double damage if its attack is greater, and it will summon 1 to 3 monkey disciples if there's room for that. In its trait here, it also will steal 2 magic from the first enemy at the start of your turn, which means that this damage here is going to increase by 2 every single turn that you have. So it's like I said, it's an average mythic. Flame of Anu, my opinion on this mythic is that it doesn't deserve to be a mythic. It deserves to be a legendary, and I have a really good example of why this should be a legendary and not a mythic right in this lineup for crafting. Because if we go up here to our legendary troops, and I even said that Kurag the Dread isn't even that amazing of a legendary troop, but if you look at its ability, it deals 38 damage to the last 2 enemies. You go down to Flame of Anu, which is a mythic troop, which should be better than a legendary troop. It says it does 32 damage to the first 2 enemies. Why is it doing less magic damage? It's doing it's not doing damage to the last 2 enemies, but it's doing damage to the first 2 enemies. But my main point is that it's doing a similar type of damage, which is spell damage, and it's doing it to 2 enemies. But its spell damage is less than Kurag the Dread, which is a legendary troop. This has a 24 mana cost. Kurag the Dread has a 15 mana cost. So honestly, you're better off using Kurag the Dread than you are Flame of Anu. It has a little damage boost, 5 for every burning and fairy fired enemy, but that's really not going to give you that much extra damage. I see no good reason why I should use Flame of Anu over something like Kurag the Dread. So, I've been really negative on Flame of Anu ever since it came out, but I think for good reason, because it's just not powerful enough, in my opinion, to be a mythic troop. So anyway, my lineup for if I was going to craft a mythic troop this week, it would probably be Champion of Anu, and second to that would be Tian Yi. Third would be Urali, and fourth, like very last fourth, Flame of Anu. So that's my order in which I would craft the mythic troops this week. Nothing really fantastic this week, but let's go and check out the new troop really quick in the shop, and then we'll head over to the event. I want to pick up my Spoils of War really quick. And we have Spring Emissary is the new troop. Its ability is Flowering Wisdom. Give 4 magic to an ally and mana equal to half their mana cost. if they're a Fey, bless and enchant them. I mean, it's not horrible. Gains a bonus to fire, to red mana and green mana. It's not horrible, but it's just a support troop, and if you have some really good legendary support troops, you probably won't need to use something like this ever. But you are getting 2 arcane trait stones with this purchase for 400 glory, so if you do have legendary troops, mythic troops, or classes that need that arcane swamp trait stone, now is the time to pick up extra of those. So, all right, let's go check out the event. It's called Chasing the Sun, and it looks like let me go through the shop here and let's get our medal. Hopefully they didn't goof something up in this event, because I really didn't play the event much last week because I wasn't motivated at all, because in my opinion they really screwed that event up by giving, they didn't give us any weapons or troops to create or convert skulls, and like that was what the bonus was skull damage in that event. So I didn't have any motivation to do that event. This one is spell damage for all troops in the current event, so we shouldn't have a problem this week, hopefully. I mean, most weapons and most troops do spell damage to begin with instead of skull damage, so looks like we are restricted to the Fey troop type and the colors of green and red. So we should have some decent troops in this. Let me do, because I'm pretty sure there's some good Fey troops. Okay, we have King Bloodwood as a mythic, Suna and Yasemin's Chosen as mythics. Those are the 3 mythics, if you have one of them, that you can use in this event. Suna is good, but I don't think that it's stealing life is considered spell damage, so it may, unless they fix that, because last time I used this with that in an event like this, the stealing life wasn't considered spell damage. So you'll have to test that out. I might actually do it here when I build a team. But Yasemin's Chosen is really good for something like this. We can get it looping, and this is considered spell damage, so King Bloodwood, it would be good as well. As far as legendaries, I'm going to say Queen Titania is really great because it does damage to all enemies. Tinson Tail is going to be good. And, well, we have Rowan. Oh, man. I didn't realize that was in there. Rowan is going to be incredibly powerful. We need to put that in there. We have Leprechaun, which is one of my favorite mana generators, just because we can get the... we can explode the board with it and really get things moving. So, let's see. What do I want to do? Maybe put King Bloodwood in there with those 2. And then we'll put a weapon in here. What weapons do we have? By rarity. And it looks like the color is just red or green. So any weapon that has one of those colors we can use. Dawnbringer is a possibility. We also have Essence of Evil, which is fantastic. Up here, you do have a few of the doomed weapons. So you have Doomed Crossbow, Doomed Glaive. Doomed Glaive is really good. You also have Summer's Wonder, which is a Fey weapon, I believe, that deals true scatter damage boosted by Fey allies. And since we have to use Fey allies, that could get a damage boost. But it's green, and we're already using a lot of green, so I'm thinking maybe use something else. I'm just seeing what we have available here. There's quite a few Fey weapons. Well, wait, yeah, we're not restricted to Fey weapons. It's more of a color restriction this time. I forgot that. It's green and red. That's why there's so many weapons. I was like, oh. Yeah, we got a lot to choose from here for weapons. That's good. You got Secrets of the Crypt. That is a weapon that could be useful. Summer's Fury. That does damage to all enemies. Trickster Shot is in here. But, yeah, so... Question is, what do I want to use? Rowan's going to be a real powerhouse with the boost of spell damage, because we're getting 160% extra boost to spell damage. But really, any one of these, like Doomed Glaive would work well. There's a little mana blockage there. We also have the Doomed Crossbow, which we could use. Early on, it's not really going to matter too much. But, just throw that in there since that's not going to block any of the other colors. For class, it doesn't really matter. I'd probably go with something like Titan. Whatever you want. Whatever works. For me, I don't know. I like classes that have the half starting mana, but for events like this, it doesn't really matter because since I bought the stuff in the shop, I have potions of explosion and enchantment. So, let's see here. I've been trying to level up the Tidecaller. Why don't we use that? Here we go. We'll do that. For banner, let's go green, blue, because those are the colors for Rowan. Rowan, however you want to say that troop's name. I've heard it pronounced a couple different ways. Yeah, so we got all that. Yeah, we got some decent troops this time, so a lot of weapons to choose from. So this event, we shouldn't have a problem finding great troops to use. Yeah, I forgot to look to see if there's any weapons that boost armor that we can use, because that would be really good with Rowan. I should go in and take a look at that really quick. Go in and edit. We almost don't even need Leprechaun because we have all the potions of enchantment and explosion. So I could always throw in something like Yasemin's Chosen here, because that's going to create 10 green gems and it'll loop. So we could do something like that. And then since that's the primary color, we could go double green. I don't like the negative brown, but whatever. We'll just go with that. And then, oh yeah, I was going to look for a weapon with the armor boost. Oops, I didn't mean to knock that off there. So let me just type in armor. We have Anvil of Might. Give 27 attack and armor to an ally, so that could work with Rowan. Not exactly what I was looking for, but Golden Cog. Give armor to an ally equal to their current armor. So that would work really well too if you wanted to get a giant boost for Rowan. And or you could use Prismatic Orb, but you'd have to throw this at the very bottom so that you could give it armor. But that's about, looks like that's about it for our choices on that. But yeah, you could do this. You could get pretty high up in the event with Golden Cog plus Rowan. See, now it's full, and I'll use it on it. Give armor to an ally equal to their current armor. So we'll do this. It's now 168 armor that we gave that. And it shows you right here the total damage it's going to do for the boost. So it will now give you 336 damage. So all we got to do is power that up, and it's just like we're going to kill everything in one shot because, well, that was just the regular boost without the 160% extra damage from the metal that we have. So Rowan is probably going to be my number one suggestion. And everyone should have a copy of that because you get it as a quest reward. So that would be my my main suggestion is definitely use Rowan. So there you go, guys. That's pretty much my suggestion here for this week is use something with Rowan. You have Golden Cog and a couple other weapons that can increase the armor. And if you do have some mythics, Yasemin's Chosen, King, Bloodwood are good. I'm going over some of the other troops here really quick. For legendaries, you have Elder Father. I'm just not going to suggest that because it deals skulls and creates skulls and all that. And right now we're focusing on spell damage. But Queen Titania is going to be a good suggestion for legendaries. The Wendigo does do damage to all enemies. This is a underworld troop, so you'll have to go down there to get that if you need to. Tinson Tail is going to be good, but it won't always do damage to all enemies. It has a 50% chance to do that. Child of Summer might be good if you're focusing on a red team. Other than that, let's see, is there any other troops in here that does like damage to all enemies that I'm overlooking? Nope, I think that's pretty much it. There's some troops in here that'll do damage to just like a single enemy. But yeah, at least we have some decent troops this week, and we have plenty of weapons to choose from, so you guys shouldn't have a problem coming up with a decent team. So that's all I got for you guys this week, and thanks for watching as always. I love you guys, and I'll catch you on the next video. Later.